We all know how exciting these can be. Let's see. I don't know if I want to do the one that came out today. Today is December 1st. Let's look at the 17th, because I think there was some important stuff that came out with these. So November 17th, release 2025. We have some streamlined navigation of the information architecture update, agent entry consultation. Again, sometimes these descriptions are so short it's hard for me to really understand what we're talking about here. Live character counter for after call work notes. Okay, that's kind of cool. International daytime formats. Bring your own carrier, premises, edge devices. Okay, so a little bit of change up in the telephony views. Customer engagement, data analytics. Okay, some dialects. Regional improvements. Not really seeing anything too wild yet. Resources of bandwidth and multiple monitor, concurrent interaction situations. Okay, so screen recording is always so tough. It's like constantly needing adjustments based on like how computers are going to operate their views for the monitors and all that kind of stuff. So screen recording is always a tricky one that always kind of needs like enhancements, as really even just general technology changes. Widget availability and activity views. Okay. And we deprecated a few things. Yeah. Alright. So let's look at the details. Okay. This is what's interesting is the important thing about how the navigation has changed. So with this new layout of the menu and everything being over here, basically they're forcing it. So with on cue was still up there, but this kind of agent workspace button and a lot of things have been changed. This menu is I'm still trying to get used to it. So we do have we've got call bar up here, and then we used to have like the main menu structure up here and then call bar on the left, and I don't know why they changed that, but anyways, all of this is new, and I believe it is with the November 17th it's forced now. So the permission that was given to like check it out, the new one is gonna be there, but like kind of basically gotten rid of, because I don't think you can get back to the legacy UI view anymore. So and let's see. We'll see if we got anything else fun in here. Genesys Cloud, new navigation system, updated information architecture improve, user availability. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of this is still the idea of the navigational feature updates. Yeah, which was a pretty big deal. I still think that's going to probably take a little while to kind of level set amongst everybody. I don't really want to look into the edge stuff. Not too many people probably knows that. Okay, call agent transfer capabilities via permissions. Administrators can now use permission to control whether agents can transfer interactions. Okay, this feature gives more granularity with transfer methods. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember that sometimes the agent ones were pretty basic. We had a lot more granularity in Pure Connect to be able to kind of say like what types of transfers could take place. And so I think they're probably adding in a little bit more there. I doubt there's still going to be like divisional aware type permissions, but maybe. Manage transfer agents for agents, consult transfer. Okay. So maybe a little bit more of like blind versus consult type transfer permissions added in. Inactivity handling for messaging interactions. Administrators can now configure an inactivity time for messaging interactions. When a customer agent remains inactive behind the defined time, the interaction automatically disconnects or routes to an architect flow. Okay. Yeah, I remember this being a wanted feature for a while, because after a while, if I think it was the actual individual who's messaged in, it just kind of stays there for forever if they don't respond. And again, in the old system, it had an inactivity count, and then once that kind of went to zero, then the interaction got disconnected. But I know that a lot of that basic stuff wasn't there for some of the messaging interactions, so probably adding in a few more of those countdown timers. A couple of dialects. Okay, so now we're getting agent-to-agent consult and one transfer for messaging interactions. So I assume that enables some chat features while we're transferring the interactions. So yeah, that can definitely help. Very common for voice, but of course moving into other media types going to be important. Okay, custom prompts and advanced summary configurations. Administrators can now create custom prompts and advanced summary configurations within Agent Copilot. Ooh, okay. This feature allows administrators to define up to 3,000 characters custom text and how Agent Copilot summarizes interactions between agents and customers. By tailoring prompts to business needs, administrators can help improve the clarity, structure, and relevance of animated summaries. Custom prompts can be tested against sample transcripts before publishing to confirm the generated summaries align with organizational requirements. Okay. Yeah, I assume that's really kind of helping some of the AI stuff that's going to be involved with helping out agents with their ability to kind of have a lot more, like, we're kind of moving away from canned responses, so this is going to allow for a lot more of that kind of AI integration with messages, I think. That's what I would assume. Live counter for after call work notes. That'd be cool. Genesys Cloud now supports live character count for after call work, allowing agents to view and manage text and length. This notes field displays running character changes color as limits are approached or exceeded. Ooh, nice. Highlights overflow text indicate where edits are needed. This enhancement helps agents stay within system limits, reduce noteworthy work, and maintain consistent, high-quality data entry for more information. Okay. Again, one thing that I will say about after call work notes is probably shouldn't be using like a ton of characters here. I would probably just try and keep it simple, and if you're really needing to write a book, really need to be using your CRM. Going into your CRM records for this customer account and putting most of like the kind of large pieces of information there. After call work was really just to, kind of give a general idea of what went on and then move on, and then more detailed stuff. You can extend or use other after call work, other statuses to be able to like get that done within a CRM. So just a general use tidbit there for after call work. I do not suggest training agents to write a book in there. Okay, and some date formats, cool. More technical stuff. Regional deployments, rule-based decisions on string list attribute support. Oh, what are we talking about here? Okay, administrators can now use rule-based decisions to define, test, manage business rules that define how to route and handle customer interactions. Rule-based decisions enable administrators and developers to create structured conditions and outcomes using rule schemas, decision tables, and the call decision table action in Architect. Okay, I was thinking this is going to be within Architect. Developers can use APIs to integrate rule-based decisions with other systems, such as CRM and ERP applications. Okay, so we're kind of setting up a kind of building block of decisions. Okay, rule-based decisions also introduce a new list of string attribute that allows rule authors to group comma-separated string values into lists. Okay, yeah, list of string, that's basically an array. Okay, this capability simplifies decision table design and helps improve flexibility and maintainability when defining complex conditions. Flow authors can also pass list inputs into call decision table action to create more adaptive. Okay, so it sounds to me like we're kind of creating a more advanced way of doing decisions within a call flow that's more, I guess, adjustable on the fly than just doing everything within a data table. That would be my guess based on this description. So that sounds pretty cool. I'll have to try this out, and because that would be an easier way if we didn't have to publish Architect all the time for just some very simple rule changes, and then we don't have to create these massive like schemas within data tables for saying like, comma separated, and then within this comma separated array extract, and then do more logic based on a different separator character. that can get really confusing and look nasty within a data table. So this might be a way of enhancing that. So that's cool. And then it would be interesting to see, having an API to then pull in a CRM or an ERP. So then you can, I guess, reference these kind of business rules, I guess, that'd be set up within these conditions. So pretty cool. Okay. Screen recording now uses less system resources and bandwidth in multiple monitor and multiple concurrent interaction situations. Genesys Cloud now streams each monitor once for concurrent digital interactions. This feature enhances video streaming on the Genesys Cloud Expert for digital agent workspace app, while agents manage multiple digital interactions that use screen recording. Okay. For multiple digital interactions that use screen recording. Okay, I think what it's maybe saying is, and I could be wrong on this, if you have multiple digital interactions happening at once, so maybe like messaging, email interactions coming in, screen recorder was having to set up a screen set record session for each of those. And so now we're seeing that Genesys Cloud's doing a check that, hey, is maybe one of the other digital interactions already there streaming, and then we just kind of need to tap in to a current recording stream that's already going on. So yeah, I could see that like stacking up, especially if an agent does screen recording and then they've got like a ton of emails sitting in their currently like workspace. So I don't know. I could see that being an issue. So this is probably some additional checks they put in to make sure only one stream at a time. So, okay. Adherence widget available in the activity view. Okay. So I assume this would be for dashboards. Agent can now view their adherence within, it's within the activity view of the agent view. Okay. So that main kind of view that they have up front. Widget displays each agent's scheduled actual examine details for the day. Okay, so we're getting into workforce management. Cool stuff. Helping them stay informed about their adherence performance on daily targets. Agents can also access their adherence information from the schedule screen to review adherence details for today and previous days. Okay. So yeah, more views for WFM with agents adherence. Goes back to a little bit more of that status conversation we had earlier. Okay. Automatic submission of completed AI evaluations. Oh boy. We're getting really automated now. Okay, administrators can now configure evaluation forms to be automatically submitted when all questions are completed through AI scoring, evaluation assistance, or defaults. This capability helps streamline evaluation workflows by reducing manual submissions and improving timelines of performance feedback. This enhancement supports faster, more consistent processing of evaluations and provides visibility into which forms are auto-submitted versus submitted manually. Helping administrators and supervisors monitor evaluation activity more efficiently. Okay, auto-submitted. So I haven't looked at the AI evaluations, but I assume what it's doing is it's scoring based off of some kind of adherent or a recognition of actually completing questions that would be in a survey, and just saying like, okay, we have a certain confidence level that they actually did, have a proper introduction. They did, ask the caller's name, all those kinds of things that we might have in an evaluation survey. And then if it's kind of guaranteed that they've completed those, we just go ahead and submit the evaluation, goes into their record, and then they can start processing whether they sign off on it, or it goes in to kind of help, with their actual compensation, or however we actually structure the QA part of it, the agent. So interesting. All right. And then we got some deprecations. Looks like we're getting rid of a particular API command. Yeah, I've noticed that when I go into the API Explorer, there's been a few that have been deprecated. So contacts ones, external contacts. Okay, getting a few of those. Administer login using only name and password. Oh boy. Well, this could be pretty big. Administer login using only username and password. So how are they enforcing this? Okay. So Genesys Cloud will deprecate the ability for administrators to log in using only username and password. From the effective date, administrators must also use multi-factor authentication when they sign into Genesys Cloud. This change applies to all administrator accounts with elevated access permissions. Which permissions? Except those that authenticate through a single sign-on from systems which already use multi-factor. Okay. Requiring multi-factor helps improve account security. It reduces the risk of unauthorized access and lack credentials. Okay. I understand. But like, how are you actually enforcing it? I assume if you have the master administrator role. Can we look more into this? Let's see what we got. Okay. Genesys Cloud deprecation. The ability for administrators to log in. Using password only. Deprecation. Is this the same description we just read? Yeah. You are affected by this deprecation if your organization has not implemented WFM for admin users logging in with using a password. Okay. Genesys recommends that you instruct users with administrative permissions to enable multi-factor authentication before the effective date. The following permissions are classified as administrative permissions. Okay, here we go. Here's the nuts and bolts. If any of these permissions are included in a user's assigned roles, that user must provide an MFA token when signing into Genesys Cloud. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, there's quite a few. So it is a certain list. I was thinking if they were going to do it by like role name, that'd be tough, because what if you like change role names and all that kind of stuff. So it is particular list of admin type roles. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, OAuth client, add, delete. That makes sense. Directory. That seems kind of low level, but okay. Authorization. Yeah. Trustee. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's probably some other ones that could be added to this list, but I get it. This is pretty high level, so really only like those master admin roles are going to have these anyway, so. Okay. Understood. How do I follow these steps? Click user management roles and permissions, review the roles, and determine which roles contain administrative permissions. Yeah. So identify these user and groups which have been assigned with these roles. For each role, select change membership to view the users. Okay, they're just kind of getting you to the list of how you're going to find out who needs this. Click user management groups. For each group within the roles, tab to identify the groups that have roles within administrative. Assign for any roles and permissions via membership. Okay. So compile the list of those. Prepare to send communications to administrators and just letting them know. Okay. So they're just basically saying, hey, give everybody a heads up. That's going to be in roles that are going to have these permissions listed. Because you may have changed up your master administrator or just your regular like admin type role. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, I think that was the end of the list. Was there anything else down here? Deprecating. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to check it out. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we went over Reddit one. And let's check comments. So basically they're too good at their job. Pretty much. I think a lot of times it's interesting in Reddit how like you can see how a person has a problem because they're taking too many calls and they're exhausted. I kind of want to just know like how many calls are they actually taking. They didn't post their actual report of calls in there, so yeah, apparently they're pretty good. What update are you most excited about? Let's see, which one would I be most excited about? I don't know that I would really be excited about most of these. I think the biggest thing that's just interesting to me is just the forcing of the actual Genesys UI navigation. I think this happened pretty quickly. I know when there was actually like the release of it, it was kind of said that it was going to happen, and then eventually it just kind of showed up one day. And then it just seems like so quickly now it's going to be the only way you can navigate around Genesys, and we're just getting rid of the legacy view. So, not that I'm necessarily excited about it, but it's like, okay, well, I guess that was a quick transition. So, I'm just still getting used to it. So, I'm not necessarily excited about it, but I think it's probably the most like important thing to come out of these release notes. So, good thought. Okay, well, that's the release notes.